I'm sitting here having conversations with myself on grammar, and John's correcting me on grammar, and John's telling old war stories with Max Floyd outside the studio.
Almost didn't make it back.
We're going to have a great Featured Friday segment with Kansas City radio. I think we can use the word legend. Is that okay with you, John?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, great.
Absolutely.
Max Floyd will be here in 15 minutes for our Feature Friday on KCMO. But it is that time of the week. Let's roll.
It's time to buy, sell,
How about a damn 12 and a half, 15?
and hold.
All right, John, what's on the rundown, my man?
All right. Buy, sell, or hold. Chiefs parade shooter Lindell Mays will have his bond reduced.
Gosh, I'm going to buy it, and I don't want to buy it, but I know who's in the prosecutor's office. And yesterday, there was a motion to reduce the $1 million bond of Lindell Mays, who is one of the two suspects charged with murder in connection with the Chiefs rally shooting. But it ended up getting continued to May by the presiding judge. So basically, they just kicked the can down the road to May, which is the next time he's going to be in court, May 2nd at 1:30 in the afternoon. But listen, between the judges and the prosecutors in this town, I don't have any confidence in the rule of law in Jackson County doing the right thing. Lindell Mays, 23, one of those two charged in the deadly shooting that followed the Chiefs championship rally. Now, he's been charged with second-degree murder, unlawful use of a weapon, and armed criminal action for the shooting that killed Lisa Lopez Galvin and injured 22 others. Court documents indicate that Mays' attorney, John A. Reed, filed a motion for bond reduction. He's been ordered to remain behind bars on a $1 million bond dating back to the February 14th incident. Jackson County Prosecutor Gene Peters Baker also said that Mays was the first to pull a firearm on the day of the shooting, but he was not the suspect who fired the fatal shot. And that's why I could see these loser judges in this county saying, you know what? Oh, he's not the one who actually, pulled the firearm who ended up killing Lisa Lopez Galvin. So $1 million is, gosh, that's a high bond. I mean, he's probably a victim of society, so we should really reduce the bond for Lindell Mays and, let him do his thing until winning him back in court. I don't feel good about it, John, but I could see it happening.
Guess the GoFundMe isn't piling up.
Yeah, well, I wonder if the GoFundMe is being used to pay for the bond once they get it lowered. I'd have to check on that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's it. Gosh, let me see where that GoFundMe. All right, did it get taken down? I'll have to find out. Anyway, let's continue.
All right, buy, sell, or hold. The Kennedy family supporting Joe Biden will make a difference.
Sell. What a bunch of losers these people are. So they came out yesterday in Philadelphia. The Kennedy family, they're mad at RFK Jr. for running too. So the family came out and they held a big press conference where they got to stake the moral high ground by supporting Joe Biden. That's what they did. And it's so phony. I mean, I don't want to hear about the moral high ground from a family full of serial philanderers whose family lineage also includes a senator who left a lady to drown and was never held accountable because of their privilege, because of their last name. That is not the group that I want to hear preaching from the moral high ground about we need Joe Biden to save democracy.
And yet peas in a pod.
Yeah. Great point.
Look who's endorsing who.
Yeah. I want to play some of this from yesterday. This is Kerry Kennedy.
As Donald Trump proudly brags about overturning Roe v. Wade, rolling back the clock 50 years to when women couldn't make our own health care decisions, President Biden is fighting to get our freedoms back. Thank you, Joe Biden.
Oh, my gosh. Freedom. Oh, my gosh.
This is only part of the very long list of freedoms and rights that President Biden is protecting during a period of constant assault. Make no mistake, all these rights and freedoms are on the ballot in November. Donald Trump is running to take us backwards, attacking the most basic rights and freedoms that are at the core of who we are as Americans. I can only imagine how Donald Trump's outrageous lies and behavior would have horrified my father, Senator Robert F.
Oh,
Kennedy,
he would have been
who
horrified.
proudly served as the Attorney General of the United States and honored his pledge to uphold the law and protect the country.
Yeah, he would have been horrified by Donald Trump. Not his late brother Ted. Of course, he wasn't alive for that whole fiasco in Chappaquiddick. But boy, Donald Trump trying to destroy democracy. Oh boy, Robert would have been really upset by that, John. Oh,
I'm ignorant of who the woman is. Is she old? What's with the tremolo in the voice?
I don't know if she was nervous. No, she's probably late 60s,
Oh, okay.
I would guess. But no, she's not super old at all. No, 64.
I was having trouble with that. I'm
Yeah.
like, well, what's going on here?
I mean, but gosh, they're just,
Sounded a little older than the abortion age, if
yeah,
you will, if there is such a thing.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. But no, they're not going to help Joe. I mean, that whole idea of, well, we got the Kennedys backing. That was great maybe a generation ago.
Well, it's like the royal family in England. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, you lost your touch a little bit.
It's more symbolic than it is substantial.
It means nothing in 2024. All right, nothing at all. What's last on What If Wednesday?
One more here. Buy, sell, or hold. Michigan school launching a program to teach elementary students pronouns. Launching a program, huh?
Yeah. How fast can I sell this? That's the only question here. Yeah, a public school district. I read this on KCTV5. So KCTV5 aggregated this story. A public school district in Michigan is planning on teaching elementary students about pronouns in an effort to help all students feel understood and included. Eau Claire is set to begin kindergarten next year. And we are going to use our local public schools. We've heard very good things about this elementary school, and we are excited to use it. But the day she comes home from elementary school and says, Dad, you won't believe what I learned about today. Yeah, what's that, honey? What'd you learn about today? So I now call myself Claire, she, her, when I introduce myself in the classroom. That's the day it's over. That's the day that I will quit this job if I need to and homeschool her. I'll figure out a way to make money. But no way over my dead body are you going to be teaching my kids in elementary school when they're supposed to be learning about like reading and writing and, the multiplication tables and things like that. Over my dead body, am I going to have an elementary kid come home to me and tell me they're being taught about pronouns he, him, she, her, and God forbid, they, them? That's when you say enough's enough.
We had a program to teach elementary students pronouns when I was a kid. We called it English, language arts.
Well, that's a relic of the past, John. You know that.
Well, you got to start with the basics before you can add this stuff, right?
Well, that's a good point, too.
I had a conversation with my older son one time about how he wanted to go off the grid. I said, you got to get on before you get off. It's kind of like that, right? We got to start with the base before we can.
Great fatherly advice, by the way. You got to get on
you do?
before you get off. Oh, man. Well, parents are obviously outraged by this at DeWitt Elementary Schools, and they're speaking out saying that elementary school is far too young for discussing pronouns. Like, even if you're a pronoun fan, even if you have pronouns in your dopey little email signature, and that's, by the way, if you send me an email with your pronouns in it, I don't respond. That's just kind of my own rule. Like, I really don't. I will delete it and move on with my lay. But even if you're a pronoun fan, can you keep it out of elementary schools? Is that too much to ask? Apparently for some it is. So keep an eye on that. If it's happening in Michigan, something tells me it's happening in other places as well. There's buy, sell, hold on a Friday morning.